Thank you, Paul. My name is Sunny. I am the creator of Charting Your Courses. And this is my honor to introduce myself and also invite my guest. I have a wonderful guest today. Our topic tonight is legacy and life review. And you already have our bios, our panelist bios. This topic is so important, and I think as we're talking about legacy and then how we capture the legacy, what it means to each one of us, we'll delve into that. But before even getting into our topic, have some round of applause. We are going to talk about tonight's topic, legacy and life review. And then next my panel, Michael Rattay. He's the founder of Creative Family Memories. So he started this company after Creative Family Memories after 6 years as a small, medium-sized business photographer, and a marketer to offer something for family market. Creative Family Memories provides in-person interviews, fully edited family documentaries, and family portraits with a finished product that you can enjoy for years to come. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Next, our panel, photographers. You both are very passionate about capturing artistic way. So, what are the most effective way to capture the moments when someone is telling their life stories? Who do you want to go first?
Do you want to start? You can go ahead.
Please.
All right. As I was talking actually earlier with Annette, this is kind of one of the hardest things with people is that there's like this 10 to 15 minutes of rapport and comfort with the person. And so once you know that like you kind of got to get someone out of a shell, then that's sort of the game that you need to play as the person with the camera. Because the way I do it is at least you're off camera, so like, you have the two talents in the front, husband, wife, and you're just behind the camera asking questions, prompting questions from something that the conversations you have earlier. And so it's about like just letting people talk and asking questions to get people to open up. And so I'm just insanely curious about people. So when people tell me anything interesting, I usually, okay, tell me more, and then, so that's how I do it. I do know it takes a couple minutes to get people to break out of their shell. So, don't ask the hard questions first, and then you can build up to that.
Yeah,
in my 40s, my parents are getting into their 70s, and I want those little stories, right? Like, I don't want their stuff. I think that's probably something like messages that people are hearing is like, people don't want your stuff.
Yeah.
Like maybe some really special things, but I want the stories about the stuff. That's what I want. I want those details that no one would know otherwise. And you can't look it up. You can't Google it. It's somebody's lived experience. So I think those are the really valuable things that you can leave behind.
Right. And not to take away from you guys, but I have to say, over all the family documents that I've dealt with, paper lives the longest. Because I have like tapes that my grandfather put together in the 50s, and like we have to go to a special person to get them transcribed. Yeah.
I can do that. You know a guy now. Yeah.
Right. Now I know a guy.
You guys know a guy now.
It's a chore versus, I have a box of letters. I open it, I can read it. So, photo albums, like actual photo albums that you can open and look at, like.
Changing technology is.
Michael, you showed me the other day about the VCR.
Yeah.
Our younger generation don't even remember how to play,
Yeah.
what it is, right?
Uh-huh.
How do you use this digitizing these different methods, different, no longer it's now
irrelevant media. And how does it? Yeah.
So tell us more about some of the technique that you are using, or how do you even, start, or what is the expectation?
So I think part of that is you have to be like half of a tech nerd and like interested in like this weird, the techie stuff. So because there is no shortage of buying tools in the tech and video world. And so, it's just kind of being like knowing you have to have access to some of that stuff. So it's like, okay, well, here's the digital converter. And so I just need a VHS, and then it's like, I just know how to do that. So it's like CD-ROM, like even CD-ROMs, like none of our laptops have them. So you need to buy an external. So like, it's just one of those things. It's like, well, it's still relevant because, when I went to Columbia for film school, it was 3D animation. So I have stuff on zip drives, which, it's like, so anyways, you just kind of keep the old media to bring it to the new media because obviously, VHS is gone and DVDs are basically gone. But like now that streaming keeps going up, I feel like we're probably going to go back to DVDs because it's such a pain in the butt. Same thing with music. So it's just like being interested in the technology. It's like a weird, it's like, oh, I need this CD or someone needs a VHS. It's like, well, okay, so. And then, I'm sorry, I wanted to actually add to one of these, to everything that they're sort of saying. I think the one thing that kept popping up is the whole plant a tree quote. It's like either do it 20 years ago or today, which is the hard thing, which is very hard for people that aren't creative. So I'm clear, photographer, video person. I'm also a drummer. So like, I'm an artist. So I'm like always just doing stuff. So for me, there's a trail of just like, I have an album that was released in April this year, and I'm going on a 3-day tour this weekend. So it's like, so that's my thing, and then the photos are going to get of me on stage. Like that's when I'm, like my son saw it. I have a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old, but she can't speak. So the older one, he saw it, he's like, "Are you a rock star?" I was like, "Not really. I mean, I get 3 drinks free, and someone takes photos of me, but like, so." What is your thing though? Like I'm a drummer, so it's easy. Like after I leave this, I'm gonna go hang out with 2 musicians because they want me to do stuff with them for this weekend. So it's almost like being with people that can help you. Like it's like pushing print, like publishing stuff, like getting things off. I don't know. It's like a weird artist thing, and if you don't do it, it's like a hard practice to get comfortable with. Because like, perfect is the enemy of good. And so then nothing is done. So then you have nothing. Would you rather have nothing versus 3 sentences? Like, what do you want? So,
So I get about saving the old media. My family does scrapbooks
Mm-hmm.
with some stories and captions and going back 100 and some years.
Mm-hmm.
But now I have all these pictures I can't print. It's all on my phone. And what in blazes do you do with that? I can go to Walgreens, they say, print, here's 500 pictures, please print them. They're like, oh, no, you have to go to this kiosk and open them up one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I tried that a couple times, and you get through about 50 or 75, and then the whole thing blanks out,
Right.
and you're supposed to start over.
Reloads and you lose every.
This is insane.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay.
I'm not doing that. So I've got 15 years of pictures not printed.
Yeah.
So saving, that's great, but
I probably did 8 years without printing anything, and then once my son had his first grade Marvelous Me project, which is where they do a bunch of photos on a poster board, and then I printed 200 photos that day. I was like, you only need 30. I was like, but here I'm just going to print them all like that. So small bites, I would say that might be one thing too. Like at least do maybe 10 or 20 at a time. Do something like that.
it's not my hobby, and I don't know how to do it.
Well, then then I will say now you have a contact. I'm a tech person. I can help. I do digitizing of photos, digitizing of VHS. So like if you need them printed, I can help. So
All right.
I think that's the other half.
I'll throw out there too something that I've done personally for my family, and I encourage for anyone is for those, I know, millions of photos we all have on our phones, to make a shared family Google album, which I know sounds like ooh, but you can get help to do it, and once you get the hang of it, it's fairly streamlined, but you can definitely get help to do it too. But the nice thing about that is that you can create it, you can put your photos in there, you can continue to add photos, and then you set the family group so that people, like my family's spread out all over the country, everyone can access the photos. You can set the permissions how you want. So we have it, people can add photos whenever they want. And that way our really spread out family has this consistent place where they can see all the family photos.
Which are, to piggyback on that, digital frames are also a very nice thing, which you can, I think the Aura one has its own cloud thing that everyone can upload, and then it goes to your frame. So like I could upload, at my house, and then you'll, I do that with my mother-in-law, I send her pictures, and she sends, it's in my frame already, like within 2 minutes. So
Your thing is online though. My family's not going on.
Yeah, it is true.
It's not public domain, cloud, not happening.
Yeah, totally hear that. So, just different things that can be accessible in different ways. But yeah, not everything's going to work.
I have
for
a nephew
everyone.
that does that with his his kids, pictures.
Yep.
Babies, little kids. And he's always putting this stuff online, and we're like, don't do that.
Yeah.
So this one is private.
Yeah, this
it's
is
not
private.
like putting things out on social media. It's there are places where you can share just with your family group. Because I agree. I know I don't like. I have a son too. I don't like putting his picture out there for the world. But yeah, there are ways where there's.
And memoir's way more fun. So I hope that helps.
That's good. I just want to add one thing. I'm sorry. There's creation and there's editing. That's very important when you're doing stuff. Like the editing phase is way down the line. So you're currently just creating stuff. How it looks doesn't matter now. Like what its end goal life doesn't matter now. You just want it out. Editing is down the road. Okay, when those two people are in the same room, nothing gets done. So you got to kick the editor out. You put the artist in. You say, get high, get drunk, make me something wild, man. No, but you just say you need to create, and then later down the road you have your basket of whatever, your songs, your art, your paintings, whatever, and then you edit, then you see. So start small, just get it out, and then you decide later. Don't lose the file, don't do it on VHS, it's gotta be relevant media, that's the other thing. So notepads.
That's a really great point. I never thought of that.
It's the
Editing later.
it honestly it took me a long time to do that too, because I'm doing it, I'm like, that's a weird sentence. It's like the first draft always sucks. Get it out. Get it out. The good book comes in the third and fourth draft, or 10th. Actually, I was listening to a podcast on the way here. The Sixth Sense, Shyamalan, he got to the 10th draft before he figured out his twist ending. The ending that the most famous ending, it took him 10 drafts before that popped in. So you gotta go with it. It's part of you.
We might have.
So I think I'm done. Sorry.
Oh, thank you so much for our first panelist.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. We are moving into the legacy. What does it mean? How we define our legacy.
Oh, thanks.